name's Stuart Thompson. This is my Vauxhall Nova. It was a standard road car that was sent to Harry Hockley Motorsport in Wales, where it was completely stripped down to a bare shell, sandblasted, all the seam sealer removed, and then built up from scratch. They used their welding cage that they fabricate themselves. They also made all the adaptations to run the sequential box, fitted all the 1400 16 valve engine, fitted their bottom arm, I think it's pill beam bottom arm kit, and their 14-inch brake kit, all that. Hockley's also fitted the Bilstein suspension kit that they supply to it, which they put the turrets in the rear so you can run the coilover shocks on the rear of the car as well. They installed the hydraulic handbrake, pretty much built the whole car as you see it.
Right, so Stuart, what have we got engine-wise going on here?
The engine is a 1400 1398, built by Bill Faulkner up in Scotland. It was one of the last ultimate spec engines that he built, so it's got all the forged pistons, rods, cams, everything done to it. It's still got the original stainless exhaust that Hockley made for it when they built the car, and then it's also running throttle bodies with a custom made airbox, and it's running 182.5 brake horsepower.
So suspension and brake wise, what setups are we running?
The suspension is a Bilstein coilover, front and rear. The rear is obviously modified to have turrets to take the coilovers. The standard Novas are normally a separate shock and spring. The brakes are the Hockley Motorsport 14-inch Alcon brake kit with 4-pot calipers and vented groove discs. I was governed by the size of my brakes for the size of the wheels. So the 14 was the option that I went for, and they're amazing brakes. They work really well with the Padgett pads. The rears are just, again, they're just the normal Alcon caliper and just a standard disc. I've got brake bias in the car as well, so I can adjust it between front and rear, depending if we're down in the quarry or on the tarmac.
Right, so we've spoken about our engines, suspension and brakes. Now we're onto the gearbox. It's definitely not your standard Nova gearbox, for sure. What gearbox are we running?
We're running a 6-speed Sadev sequential gearbox. It also has paddle shift. I went for 2 levers because I just prefer an up and a down. I didn't like the idea of the one lever for doing both. It's also connected via a special linkage, so you can use the paddles and the stick. Normally if you go for the paddles, they just use the actuator, but because with the dirt rallies they don't work so well with the paddles, I wanted a system where I can use a stick for certain events and obviously the paddles on.
So sponsors, they can be a crucial part of rallying. Obviously, rallying's definitely not cheap. You've got a few sponsors on the car from the 2019 season. Obviously, we didn't do much in 2020, so sponsorship-wise, you had Pentagon, obviously, and you had Pit Stop as well. So, can you tell me a bit about where the sponsorship came from?
Pentagon is actually one of my friends, Elliot. I just asked him if he would like to sponsor a car. He said that's something that they haven't done before and they'd be interested in doing. They've obviously got their different parts of Pentagon groups, so they have the normal builders merchants, they have their Pentafix, their design studio, their paint centre, so it was nice to be able to get quite a few different parts of the same company on the car. And then the other sponsor I had was Pit Stop Mobile Smart Repair. Matt works out of his van. He comes round to your house, your work, wherever's convenient for you, and he'll repair the small little dings, scratches, or anything on your car that you don't really need to go to the body shop for. And then my other sponsor that I had, not an official one, is my mum and dad, who every year for the last I started rallying in 1999, and since then they've always paid for my fuel for the Jersey Rally, so they get their name on the car as well.
So you've got these two names on the front of your car. So can you tell us about, obviously, where they've come from then?
Toby is my son. He's 4.5. Obviously, when he was born, I thought it'd just be nice to have his name somewhere on the car. I know a few other of the guys that race do it, so I did that for Toby. Then, of course, when Harry came along, he's now 7 months old. I thought I can't not have Harry's name on the car either, so that got added. And actually, the registration of the car is Toby's birthday as well, so it's just a nice little thing. Maybe give it to him when he's 16 or something, and put it on whatever he likes then.
Tyre choice is obviously a crucial part of anyone's sort of rally driving in order to help with grip in different conditions, and there's different compounds, and obviously you've got your wet tyres, your dry tyres. Can you tell me a bit about what your tyre preferences are?
Well, since I started, I basically started on the cheapest tyres I could get, which were absolutely useless, if I'm honest. And gradually I've kind of gone up. I was a big fan of the Dunlop tyres. Unfortunately, they stopped producing those, so I went to Hancocks, which were similar to the Dunlop, and then I've moved over to the Pirellis for the tarmac, the RKW7. Absolutely amazing tyre, plenty of grip, car handles beautifully on it, so they're just a really nice tyre. And then for the wets, again I use the Pirelli wet. Again, brilliant tyre for in the wet. It's an M3, nice and soft, loads of nice grooves to get rid of all the water, and the grip is phenomenal. It shocks me how well a tyre can grip at the speeds we do in the rain, and obviously I'm not even going as fast as some of the top guys. So
yeah, even in the horrible, especially leafy, wet, damp Jersey lanes. It's definitely
well,
not.
I don't think any tyres really work on the leafy lanes, but they give you enough grip to just hang in there. So, but yeah, I'm really impressed with those Pirellis for both wet and dry.
Seats and belts. Let's move on to these. They're obviously a crucial part again for personal safety. Obviously, you're running these seats, so everyone has their preference. Can you tell me a bit about your choice for these seats?
When the car was actually built by Hockley's, I stopped in at Demon Tweaks on my way up to try a load of seats out, because unless you sit in one, you don't know what the best seat is for you. So out of the range of seats that they actually had in the showroom, the OMP WRC was essentially the only one that I fit in properly, where the belts came out over my shoulders at the right height. A lot of the other manufacturers were too low or too high, so that's how I chose those seats, and they're actually a really comfortable seat. to sit in. Obviously, you can be in it for a long time. Jersey Rally, you're in it most of the day. So yeah, they're just a really nice seat. And when my original ones went out of date, it was quite an easy choice to just replace them with the same for same as just a newer version, slightly different lettering. The harnesses, again, something nice and safe. I went for the TRS 6-point. They have the slightly thinner straps on the top to go over your hands device, makes it a lot more comfortable. And again, they were originally in the car as well, and I just replaced those again because I was happy with them. The only difference being the shoulder straps were the thinner.
So intercom wise, what are you running? Because everyone has their preferences. They're obviously required for rallying. So what have we got here?
I use the Peltor base unit in the car, and then I wear a Stilo helmet, obviously with Peltor adapter, because I find that the Peltor actual intercom system in the car is a lot better, but then I prefer the Stilo helmet.
Yeah.
So I've got a carbon.
So I've run a Stilo helmet as well. They're very nice, very comfortable helmets.
Yeah, they are. They're really nice. Fixed boom. I went for the carbon one.
Yeah.
And it's just a really nice helmet to wear.
As nice as they are, they're very important as well, protecting, looking after your head, and obviously.
Yeah, you only get one head, so you may as well spend as much money as you can on your helmet to protect it.